We're in Johannesburg this afternoon for the final match of this year's Tri-Nations Series. A lung-busting affair is expected as well. Australia need to score tries. South Africa have been doing the same recently. It's all going to be played out at altitude. There could be a fair few points scored today. And this is what they're playing for as well. The Tri-Nations Trophy, the Nelson Mandela Trophy as well, albeit that it's a plate. But it still looks pretty impressive, doesn't it? Stuart Barnes and John Gallagher are alongside me. Let's get some predictions, guys.
Go, you first.
I'll go first.
You go first,
I'll
John.
go first. I will say that Australia to win, but very, very narrowly. Okay, and the South Africans, if they're going to get stuck into this Australian side, they're going to have to use quite a bit of physicality, as we saw in the return match, or the first match. And Australia to win by 3 points. Sorry, mate.
Which gives New Zealand the trophy itself.
Whilst
the Warriors dance for us, good time to talk about the game. Stuart, your prediction, please.
Well, with my betting hat on the full SP last night, I recommended Sky Punters back South Africa at 6-4 to win off evens. The loss of Andre Pretorius and Brent Russell coming in at 10 is such a massive imponderable. It may have swung it Australia's way. The Ellis Park factor is such. I'm going to be brave and I'm going to stick with South Africa by 1 point in a 70-point thriller.
Split decision. I'm just going to ask you key areas of the game as well for you, John.
South Africa forwards and defensive patterns off the base of set plays.
And Stuart?
It's George Smith against Brent Russell. If Smith wins that one on points, then it's all over for the Boks.
OK, well, it is all set up for a classic encounter. Remember, pride at stake for the South Africans. Australia can still clinch the Tri-Nations Trophy. A lot of hard work to do, though, in Johannesburg. If they're to pick up a hat-trick of titles, they need to win by 26 points. And they need to score 4 tries or more. It is a tough ask, but the way the world champions have performed in years gone by, it's the kind of thing, Stuart, you can almost see them pulling off.
Well, they can score the tries. I think they will score 4 tries. I mean, they got 4 in, 25 minutes in Brisbane. The problem is South Africa have got one of the quickest backlines I've ever seen. How do you stop them, John, when the game starts going wide?
Definitely. Very, very exciting. What I'm worried about, though, is that, you know, the mental edge of the Australians. Have they got it today or not?
OK, we'll soon find out. The South African team making their way out onto the pitch. Let's get across to our commentary team, which consists of Garth Wright alongside Hugh Bladen.
South African team now with, of course, Brent Russell coming in now. For the first time in about 4 years, Ruud Stroili had named the same consecutive team that played last week, but Andre Pretorius did himself a knee injury during the course of the week, and disappointingly he's not in. So it's a huge day for young Brent Russell, who will be playing in the number 22 jersey. So it's up to the other guys to rally around. As Phil Kearns was saying earlier on, Neil de Kock will have to just look after him a little bit, as will De Wet, Barry, Marius Joubert and Bob Skinstad particularly, so that South Africa will be looking to get clean ball. There is a bit of a wind that will be playing primarily from right to left. Now with the players lining up for the national anthems. Or first of all, a message from Madiba.
The rugby rivalry between South Africa and Australia is forever fierce and keenly contested. No doubt our Springboks will be spurred on today by the customary local and vocal support at Ellis Park. This venue brings back a special memories for many South Africans, myself especially. Much has taken place since that historic day in 1995, and the game of rugby in South Africa is more and more becoming entrenched as a sport for the nation. There have been great strides made to transform rugby and create opportunity for all South Africans at all levels of the game. It is an honor for me to be associated with this event. This year sees the second Mandela Cup match and the first to be played on South African soil. The first match took place in Melbourne, Australia in 2000. I look forward to a great match and hope that those gathered here today and who are watching around the world will enjoy a memorable occasion. Good luck to both teams.
Well, that message was played on the big screen here at Ellis Park, and there was absolute silence while that was happening. In a moment, we will have the anthems sung by Claire Johnson and Jeff Maluleke.
Australians, all let us rejoice, for we are young and free. We've golden soil and wealth for toil. Our home is girt by sea. Our land abounds in nature's gift of beauty, rich and rare. In history's page, let every stage advance Australia fair. In joyful strains, then let us sing, advance Australia fair. Così si deleli Africa, malupagami sukonorayo, Israeli tanda sovietu, così si delela, Tina Lusapolayo, Morena Bologa se chavasa Yesu, ofedisa tintoile matwenye, oh si volupe, si chavasa, Jesus si chavasa, South Africa, South Africa. Fanon sahilma, editita fanon sin, Borotziga ha-ha-ha-baftas, body cramps of onward fear. Sounds the call to come together, and united we shall stand. Let us live and strive for freedom in South Africa, our land.
The young reach for a dream child, 13-year-old Dewald Bronkhorst, who is suffering very unfortunate from Hodgkin's lymphoma. There are the replacements, with Zoli Leroux, of course, the most capped replacement in world rugby. Henro Scores will look to make an impact, and Stefan Terblanche is on the bench in place of Brent Russell. Now the big question is, Garth, you've played scrum half at international level. What is, just as we see the ref, just for a moment, he's been the referee in South Africa, 2 of South Africa's great victories. The one at Loftus Versfeld, 61-22, and the other at the Parc des Princes back in 1997 when South Africa won 52 points to 10. Both the captains are born in the same hospital in Zambia. But just to get back to that point, Garth, you know, Brent Russell, huge moment for him.
It's a huge moment for Brent Russell, and obviously very important. And the captain will be thinking about, right, talking to Neil de Kock, saying, you've got to look after Brent Russell, take the pressure off of him. As you see Paddy O'Brien in your picture, getting the game underway.
So it'll be Matthew Burke who will kick off. Australia playing from right to left. And there will be a little bit of wind. It's amazing. We had earlier drizzle. Now it could drizzle during the course of the game. Australia looking to win by 26 points. We welcome viewers around the world. I'm sure that the New Zealanders are rooting for South Africa. Matthew Burke with the kick-off for the 49th test match between these two great rugby playing countries. Van Niekerk. De Kock. Well, it came to Werner Greef. And not a bad clearance under pressure by the Western Province players. Remember that wind is quite strong. Now this is quite interesting because Werner Greef has moved into the fly half position. We were told that Brent Russell was going to be playing fly half, but it looks like he will be at full back. So changes are plenty in terms of that vital position at fly half. Well taken by Finnegan. Paul. Gregan, Larkham. Well, they missed Kefu there and opened up. It was a beautiful tackle there from Marius Joubert. And a penalty to South Africa. Well, dangerous movement there by Australia. Here goes de Kock. Bulsa. De Kock again. Labuschagne.
Let it go.
De Kock. Meyer, the tights running in at that fly half position at the moment. Hands off, shouts Paddy O'Brien.
That'll do, going forward, scrum.
So scrum to South Africa with a tackle ball. They were going forward.
Well, that was very interesting that Neil de Kock decided to take a short one and take the opposition on. Certainly, I think in a time like this, just want to settle matters down, put it downfield, get out of your half, take the pressure off South Africa.
So it's an early scrum. Last week, which was about 10 minutes into the game, we had the first scrum, and it's a tough contest there in the front row. Young, Paul and Darwin, Sipaka, Dalton and Meyer.
We're coming up, come up. Go! Go half. Stay on, stay on.
Solid by South Africa. De Kock, Russell, Joubert. Dregan there as always with the cover tackling. De Kock again, Labuschagne. South Africa retaining the ball well. De Kock, Russell, Dalton.
Come on.
De Kock, Russell. Little dart by him. Now chance here for Joe Van Niekerk. Very nearly through. Great tackle by Burke. Well, a bit of a wild pass back there. Sipaka has to tidy up. Did he? Well, the referee said he knocked it down. Russell operating at fly half. Here goes Joubert. Big hand off by him. Skinstad. Crowd getting excited. Labuschagne, good build-up by South Africa. And then Werner Greef's pass just knocked down by that man, Sterling Mortlock. A good period of play for the home team.
Where is it?
Well, fantastic continuity from the Springbok as the ball is worked out wide. Marius Joubert drifts a bit across the field, gets the NBA pass out to Bob Skinstad, does the right thing, straightens up, looks for the support on the inside. It's Jonas Labuschagne, but no space for Werner Greef for the reverse pass.
Last one.
So James Dalton will be, well, he looks like he's got a bit of an elbow problem there. Crowd enjoying the early part of the game. But it's interesting to see. Now, it may be that when it's Australia's ball, Brent Russell will go. Joe van Niekerk with a super dart earlier on. Of course, playing on his home ground. So it will be, well, they're waiting for James Dalton because it's South Africa's ball. AJ Fenty in the middle of the line-out. Labuschagne at the front. They go for van Niekerk. Well taken down by the youngster. Competed there by Justin Harrison, de Kock, Russell, Barry.
Let it go!
De Kock again, Russell, Labuschagne. He's been in the thick of things, has Giannis Labuschagne, a former loose forward, of course. And it's a penalty to South Africa. Now, who will take the kicks? That's the big point.
Offside. 5. Back here.
So it's offside against Justin Harrison.
Go, just go.
Well, indeed, Hugh, it's been the pressure that South Africa's been putting on that defence of Australia. Just running it up, using big forwards in the back line, driving it up against Matthew Burke, putting the pressure on Australia. And naturally, we'll see it from here. Wonderfully won ball from Joe van Niekerk. He really had a battle for that ball as they went forward.
So it's Werner Greef who has been entrusted with the kicking duties. Now, he's not recognised as a regular kicker either at international or provincial level. It's a shocker. It's hit the post. Harrison. And he swirls away from Fenter's tackle. Eventually brought down by Skinstad, Gregan, Burke. Well, when they said that Andre Pretorius was not playing, my immediate reaction was South Africa will have a problem with place kicking. But he just needs to settle down, doesn't he?
Absolutely, the big concern. I've seen him kick at provincial level. He can kick a ball. Needs to keep his head down. Needs to just relax, stroke through the ball, and I don't think he'll have a problem. Most importantly, it mustn't affect his natural game.
Quite tough to say relax.
Let's go, hurry up!
Too high for Fenter. Finnegan knocked it on though. Referee waiting for advantage. So South Africa getting away with that through Finnegan not being able to hold on. That ball, I would think, will be a little bit slippery.
Nice and square on him. Give him something to hit. And
I don't think Finnegan was expecting that ball. It just popped through the middle. Wasn't able to control it. Scrum down South Africa.
Skinstad hanging loose at the back of the scrum. Just with the one hand. Takes it for Barry with the crash ball over the halfway line. De Kock decides to just go with the dummy. They need a scrum half. Do South Africa. Skinstad is there. Russell's gone on the far side. Well, lovely little dart by the nippy fly half. Australian stretch to bring him down. Meyer. And that was offside. No. Yes, quite right. It was offside by Bill Young. The ruck had formed. And Bill Young got in the way.
The ruck formed after the tackle. Lazy running. He's got to come back round.
Well, now it'll be interesting to see. Well, now Brent. Is this the right thing, guys? Swap your kickers time and again. Beautiful run this by Brent Russell, and ultimately Harrison at a stretch to bring him down.
No, back. Come back a metre.
Now Brent Russell too is not a recognised provincial kicker. Kicked against Samoa right at the end of the game, and I'm sorry to tell South African supporters and probably New Zealand supporters as well that he missed a kick in front of the posts. Now, of course, is the right decision to swap your kickers after such a well, Werner Greef just having one opportunity. They used to call him at St. Stithians Primary the little Maradona. And that's another shocker. So the South Africans will need to keep their heads, and this is where Corné Krige will come to the fore. I can remember way back in 1972, South African having a dreadful trouble with in a test match against England. The great Jan Ellis eventually ended up taking a conversion or a kick at goal. That was de Kock. First touch for Latham. Pentune with plenty of space for the big man. Good support from the rest of the Australians. First time that Australia have been able to build up. Larkham decides to do that, and Paulson's well positioned. Well, was that Larkham getting the ball in the face, or he looks a bit shaken up, does Stephen Larkham? Unbelievable experience to Stephen Larkham, his 52nd test. George Gregan, his 78th test. You look at them against Russell, who's playing his 6th, and de Kock his 5th. 11 between them. 140, 130 something between the Australian halfbacks. Dalton too slow. Kefu, Finnegan. Gregan, Larkham. That's not a good pass by Stephen Larkham. Burke. Dean Hall lifting him up there. A little bit dangerous because the maul had formed almost. Gregan said advantage. Heard the referee say advantage. That's why he took the drop.
Certainly an unforced error by the Springboks, as Johannes Labuschagne is found in an offside position, coming in from the sky, and Matthew Burke gets a shot at it. It's the guilty party. He knows it, nods his head. Just look at him. He has to come to the last line of feet. He's standing in an offside position, and he attacks the ruck.
So Matthew Burke will have a kick at goal. He's kicking with the wind, although it would tend to swirl a little bit in this massive stadium, which now is just about chock-a-block full. .770 points for Matthew Burke in international rugby, and just behind Andrew Mertens in terms of points scored against South Africa. He will enjoy the way the ball flies in the more rarefied atmosphere. That has the distance and the direction, and Australia are in the lead.
Well, certainly soul-destroying for the captain, Corné Krige. 2 missed opportunities for South Africa, and Matthew Burke gets the first sniff at points, and he takes them.
Well, it could be that is South Africa's downfall today, but remember, Australia need 4 tries and 26 points to win the Tri-Nations competition. At the moment, the All Blacks sitting in pole position.
Play an unplayable, try and get out of our notes. Yep.
Well, Dean Hall is getting up very slowly on the far side of that scrum forming.
Just wait. Go! Let's go.
Gregan, Larkham. It's not a good kick by Stephen Larkham, coming off the side of his boot and just gaining about 10 metres. That's Chris White, the touch judge from England. Now South Africa will not want to over-elaborate here. That's good play by them. Krige, Van Niekerk, de Kock, Russell, Barry, stopped by Herbert. De Kock, Labuschagne, Play on, says referee. It wasn't knocked on. And just outside the 22, Sterling Mortlock got his boot to it, directly into touch. Don't often see that.
Well, the pass wasn't the best one I've ever seen. It's behind Jonas Labuschagne. Mortlock with the boot upfield, directly into touch.
Well, the other touch judge, Alain Rowland from Ireland, picked it up very quickly. Van Niekerk. Well, it's well contested by the Australian. I think it just slipped out of his hands. But play on, said Paddy O'Brien.
Hands off, stay back.
De Kock, Russell, content to move the ball around. Paulsa, Krief. Russell. Good follow-up play by the fly half. De Kock. Joubert. Good defence by Australia. They'd fanned out and were very flat. Here is Willie Meyer at fly half. Holds off Gregan. De Kock, Van Niekerk. The Australians, their line of defence is fantastic. It was Darwin who darted away with it. Fed out by Smith to Kefu. Gregan. And you see Russell had gone to the full back position. Again, Gregan realised that Paddy O'Brien had called advantage to Australia. Hence the kick coming in.
Over here, 7 goals, 6 green.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going at it.
Okay, I'll
Just have a word.
next line out with them.
The tackle.
This one here? No, you and George, no.
There's a high tackle, I think.
The referee indicating that it, you said was a high tackle. Yeah, quite right, guys.
Judge, you and number 6 for them. No,
We've said it before, it can be a little bit of a misnomer. It's not a question of being a dangerous tackle. If it's high, it's penalisable. Or should I say, if it's above the shoulder, it's penalisable, even if the tackled player does not appear to be in any physical danger. Interesting that Burke sort of drilled that ball into touch instead of it really looking for distance.
Green, go down.
You can see the touch judge's flag swirling in the wind. Well, taken by Sharp, Larkham, Herbert. He's a big man, is Daniel Herbert.
No ruck.
Well, that's amazing. No ruck formed, and it looks like South Africa may have turned it over. De Kock. Barry, that was Van Niekerk who fed it out to Dalton. Paulsa. Sapaka took his eyes off it. Now Darwin gives chase. Russell. Darwin, very well, he secured it. No, Russell snatched it away.
Number 8.
And
hold him back. Number 8.
Skinstad is penalised for holding back by one of the Australians.
Yeah.
Just having a look at Bobby Skinstad, nod of the head. It was again unforced pressure as that ball goes to ground, and Skinstad with a little pull over there, easy to see. Brent Russell not being able to snatch it up on the first take.
Well, it's another penalty to Australia because of an elementary mistake by South Africa.
Running out of time, you've about 15 seconds.
Well, that won't fuss Matthew Burke too much. In his 64th international, has to take it a little bit quicker. Bang through the middle.
Well, that's absolutely phenomenal, the way he strikes that ball. Well, that's Lawrence Sapaka who dropped that pass, and that's where the pressure came through from Australia.
can see Darwin there. I don't really think it slowed Darwin down too much, but tugging on the jersey is not allowed. Too deep by South Africa. Now this crowd is in Johannesburg is an unforgiving crowd, and they may start getting a little bit impatient with the elementary mistakes being made by South Africa.
We've done nothing.
No, I'm talking about puttings now. All right. Okay. I don't want to pull anything out of a hat. Yeah. They've got to be better than what they are. Let's have them straight.
Just wait till the stable.
Yep, down the middle. Thanks, guys. Let's go. Yeah.
Well, it's quite interesting that after 18 minutes in the game, Paddy O'Brien has a little chat to the scrum halves about making it a fair contest. Is it ever?
Break it, careful.
Again, the front rankers having a battle royal. AJ Fenter was upset about something.
Get over it. No, let's go. Engage!
South Africa obviously looking to put pressure on that Australian scrum, but it wasn't there. Kefu, Gregan, Latham, great tackle by de Kock. Latham is a man you have to take low and quickly. Kefu with a big charge.
Come over, Green, leave it! Advantage!
Well, it's going to be advantage. What Gregan will just say to Finnegan, give me the ball and take a drop. Mortlock, wow, he struck that incredibly well, but not the right direction. And another penalty to Australia.
Well, let's first have a look at the scrum as we go through the scrum. It's a big scrum from South Africa, putting them under pressure. Kefu comes on to the blind side. The ball coming back. He struck it so well, didn't Sterling Mortlock? Not too in straight, go back for the penalty. But again, it was a ruck situation. South Africa was off their feet, playing the ball on the ground. Elementary error, opportunity for Matthew Burke.
Well, of course, George Gregan said that the first requirement was to win the game, which makes absolute sense. But remember, to win the Tri-Nations Championships, they need 4 tries. This to chalk up 9 of the 26 that they're looking for, to narrow the points difference with the All Blacks. And it's another good kick by Matthew Burke. He's on song today. Well, the Australians have weathered the storm with that wonderful defence of theirs and have just started to chalk up the penalties. South Africa have lost their composure a little bit and very quickly need to get it back. Kefu.
Leave it, Green. Stay back, come back.
Gregan, Larkham.
Stay one, stay. Yep.
Interesting, he seemed to hoik that infield. Neil de Kock. Very little options here for him. Oh, that's a high tackle by it was George Smith who went high.
Number 7.
The youngest player on the field.
7.
Now, will he get a yellow card for this?
I'm talking about the reaction. Be careful, keep him down. Go to the bud and get it sorted. Yep, go get it sorted.
Well, it's a reaction tackle, says Paddy O'Brien, which I think is fair enough.
Well, it was a gruesome tackle around the neck on young Neil de Kock.
The kick for touch by Werner Greef.
Captain!
Well, that's the man they call the Jackal. No, George Smith is.
It's fine, no, just leave it to me.
It's certainly the Springboks need to turn some pressure into points at the moment. This is an opportunity.
Van Niekerk. They've won some good ball, have South Africa, particularly at those line-outs. De Kock, Dalton, De Kock again. Russell. Good tackle by Ben Tune, who's on his feet and grabs the ball. Now it's in Smith's hands. Larkham at scrum half. Latham, this is where he is very dangerous. Great tackle there by Marius Joubert. And Dean Hall across looking for work. Well, Latham is the man who really is dangerous, and it was a superb tackle by Joubert.
Well, he came right on the inside for the big tackle. The knock on there from Matthew Burke. Bobby Skinstad with a hand for the run around from Dean Hall. Wasn't read by Dean Hall as the ball goes into touch.
George Smith still with a bit of a blood problem. Will be South Africa ball.
James, put the ball down, go and have a break. Take a break.
Well,
Okay, let's go.
It looks as if we've got David Lyons coming onto the field.
Okay.
There he is, the young Queensland Reds player. In fact, I don't think that's right. I think he's a Waratah.
Nice forward, that'll do.
Of course, the other guy who was originally on the bench was young Croft, the Queensland flanker.
Kirk, who's coming in, the timing just not 100% correct. Ball goes forward.
Let's go, half, let's go.
Again, South Africa putting pressure on that scrum. Gregan, Larkham, Herbert. Greef makes the tackle. That's exactly what is happening. Greef would fly half when Australia had the ball. Smith, Finnegan. The Wallabies on the run, up to the halfway line. Sharp takes it over the halfway line. Gregan, Larkham, Herbert. Well tackled by Van Niekerk. Now it's Burke. A little bit of space for him, then bumped by Labuschagne. Gregan, Larkham, Latham. Australia just retaining the ball as they'll want to do extremely well. Mortlock, all looking for work. Gregan, Sharp. Gregan. This is Jeremy Paul. Just grinding away here, the Wallabies, looking for an opening. Larkham decides to change tactics a little bit. Brent Russell looking for it to go over the touch-in goal line. But it was well shielded there by Brent Russell.
Fantastic defence from South Africa as Australia took it through 7, maybe 9 phases. But South Africa kept their heads, kept their lines, made that first-time tackle every opportunity they got, forcing Larkham to go for the corner kick, really, without any other option. Good defence, South Africa.
Greef. Kefu. Dean Hall was up, good tackle by him.
Leave it.
Gregan, Larkham, Mortlock. Eventually it's Skinstad who brings him down. Larkham. A good tackle there on Herbert by Devet Barry. Larkham once again, the Australians getting plenty of the possession, and the forwards certainly won't be unhappy with that, and the Springboks have to turn around and retreat 40 metres.
Look at that classic tackle from Devet Barry, perfect body position, going in, hitting the strike, but fantastic work from Herbert. Stays on his feet, pops it on the inside to Larkham. Larkham takes the pressure off Australia.
Well, I think also Larkham indicating there just how well the Australians back up. Always a man in position to take that ball from a player under pressure. Now important line out this for South Africa. Labuschagne.
Keep it up. On the back.
De Kock. Greef. Finnegan was palpably offside there. Went far too early.
Owen Finnegan just testing the offside line slightly. Just gone out of the blocks a little early, as you could see.
Yeah. Werner Greef. Remember that South Africa are playing in to the breeze. I hesitated slightly there because it does tend to swirl here. There's Dr. Uli Schmidt, one of the great rugby players of South Africa, Labuschagne. Good maul this by South Africa, up towards the halfway line. There's the halfway line in picture there. Lawrence Parker at the back. They've got to keep it going. Can't stop and then go. That's good mauling by the South Africans. Now they need to crash in and clean out at that ruck. Slow ball for de Kock. Dalton has spilt it. Oh, that's disappointing. That's the second time a front rank has spilt a ball when South Africa needed it badly. Dalton, such a competitor, you can see how disappointed he is.
I think he's more disappointed by the fact that he was going to get the ball. I don't think that ball should have gone to Dalton in the first place. Neil de Kock should have spread that ball out wide. The whole back line was lined up. Brent Russell was calling for it. I don't think Dalton was expecting it.
Where the ball is now. Here's number 4, Australia.
I believe it's number 4.
Yeah. Stop, mate.
Penalty to South Africa where the ball is now.
Yeah, okay. Number 4, Australia. Captain. Number 4 threw a punch. Yeah. We talked about discipline. It's a penalty here. Okay, go away.
It's Nathan Sharp who was penalised. It's quite interesting. Number 4 threw a punch. In the good old days, it would either go unnoticed or in the strict term of the law, it should be a yellow card, punching. But I did like the way that's handled.
Number 4, come on, none of it. None of it.
Well, it's now getting to a point where, from a South African point of view, that they desperately need points on the board. And a try would really boost their confidence. Dalton, Skinstad, Sipaka, Labuschagne. Now they need to pile in there. Willie Meyer mustn't run away from the support play. De Kock, Russell. Australians have fanned out. Labuschagne again has been prominent in open running play. But Larkham and Easy, oh, is it? Marius Jabeur has done wonderfully well for South Africa. Then Herbert gets it away. Look at that, Jeremy Paul with the clearance, showing his all-round skill.
Temperature's gone up a wee bit.
Well, here was the punch. Right into the strike. Punch was on Willie Meyer. Very, very small. There it is.
Well, ultimately, South Africa do win the ball in the line-out via Labuschagne, de Kock, Russell. Dean Hall's had precious few opportunities today, using his strength there.
More turnover.
Owen Finnegan on the receiving end there. Just looking across at the touch judge, who has not reacted.
There certainly was some mountaineering there.
Scrum, fellas.
On Owen Finnegan.
Goal. Yeah. Up high. Let's stay in the scrum. Come on, work for me. Go! Make a hut.
Kefu.
Come here, tackler. Right here.
Gregan. Latham. Hasn't had too much of the ball, Chris Latham. To give you an indication of the size of these guys, he's 1.92 meters tall and 100 kgs. Which for some of the more senior viewers is well over 6 foot. Skinstad. And apart from one or two handling indiscretions, the South African forwards have done a pretty good job, I think, in this first half. Neil de Kock, Russell, Joubert, Hall. Burke was the first Australian onto him. Now can South Africa, that ball is just coming a little bit too slowly.
We come. 70 on 50, let's go.
One wonders why that ball was coming out so slowly if there weren't hands in. It's Matthew Burke who is down. He felt the brunt of Dean Hall's strength. I think Brent Russell has operated pretty well at fly half. He hasn't kicked at all, in fact, in terms of tactical kicking, but his spreading of the ball has not been bad. One sniping little break. But it is that area of place kicking that South Africa, you know, with the Australians 9 points to 0 up, South Africa should have at least 6 on the board. Although if they kick the first one over, play restarts on the halfway line, can be a totally different game. But it should certainly be 3. Territorially, not bad, Garth.
Absolutely, you know, we're just not turning that territory and that pressure into points. We've had our opportunities, they haven't come our way, but definitely South Africa is still very much in the hunt of this game, playing against the win in the first half and second half coming our way.
Well, that's a good scrum by the Australians. One must say the Wallaby defence, as it has over the particularly recent years, been absolutely superb.
Up higher and come closer.
This has been one passage of play that's been very good for South Africa.
Skinstad on the side of the scrum. Interesting. Van Niekerk backing at number 8. There they go. Barry. De Kock. Van Niekerk. De Kock again. Russell. Joubert. Good tackling again, well picked up by Sipaka. Now, he has a little dart. Can South Africa keep the momentum going? De Kock, Barry. AJ Venter, good pass there by Joubert Dalton. Labuskaghni, Hall was on the outside. Again, the Wallabies' defence holds up. Look at Dregan, the way he's tackling. And still South Africa drive it forward. Labuskaghni in the thick of things. De Kock, Russell, Van Niekerk. De Kock again. Can Russell do anything here? Gets his hands about the tackle. Oh, he just needed to find AJ Venter there. Now a chance here for Breyton Paulse. Crack on the pace. This is David Barry. Oh, and they're just hands in the way. Penalty to South Africa. It will be deliberate knockdown and a deliberate throw out there by Chris Latham.
He went for the ball. I'm happy with it.
No, the referee indicated advantage to South Africa, and then he seemed to change his mind. Now watch.
Well, Stephen Larkham in this position, right here on David Barry. Is that a reaction? Is that a knockdown? Well, I think that's a knockdown.
Only what I can see.
Well, I was very surprised that the touch judge didn't pick that up, because he was right underneath Chris Latham, and yet the touch judge didn't pick it up. But, well, the crowd, despite the fact that they're 9-0 down, are enjoying the game.
There are two issues here. This issue of Latham forcibly taking the ball out by hand certainly is a penalty. Wasn't picked up by anybody. Scrum down, South Africa ball.
Okay. It's going to hit the sideline now, though.
Well, Stephen Larkham seems to have recovered.
Guys, you've got to
So
work
the
for me
scrum
here,
will
okay?
be for Paddy O'Brien, having adjudged that Stephen Larkham went for the ball and knocked it forward.
Engage! Okay, let's go.
Now, can South Africa make this attacking scrum tell?
Sit down.
Van Niekerk again at number 8. Skinstad.
Hands off!
De Kock. Russell. Joubert. Swirls away from Larkham. Not Finnegan, though.
He's fine.
Well, South Africa decide to go piling through the middle. Worked out by... Now here goes Peyton Pulsar. He needed that. He hasn't scored in 12 test matches.
Well, a glorious try. Fantastic, Breyton Paulser. Well, it was Lawrence Parker who drove it through the middle, softened up the defence. It came back into the hands of Breyton Paulser, and is that gas or what? The ball's popped back. Breyton Paulser puts his ears back. He sees the smallest of gaps, turns on the heat, and gets a great 5 points.
Well, I said he hadn't scored for 12 test matches, and that is a fact. But he really has had very little of the ball in recent seasons. So Werner Greef is entrusted with the kick. Look at Chris Latham in the background, looking to charge. Greef bangs it over, and South Africa, just before half-time, will be very relieved with that score.
Jeremy Paul found wanting on the inside, but it was Lawrence Parker who had done the damage. The ball comes back, and it's really the pace of Paulser that counts.
So it was Marius Joubert who got that pass back off the ground, and that set it up for South Africa. Labuschagne.
Let it go.
It would appear that the South African forwards have decided to drive in at the Wallaby forwards, and certainly seem at the moment to be out-rucking and out-mauling the men in gold.
The ruck is
The last 10 to 12 minutes, Owen Finnegan puts his hands in the air. It's a ruck ball, stay out of it, says Mr. Paddy O'Brien, as Werner Greef goes for touch. But importantly, from the line-outs, they've been driving that ball up. They've been keeping the ball closer to the tight 5, driving through the middle at the rucks and ball situations, and putting the pressure on Australia. There we go, straight through the middle. Finnegan, it's a ruck situation. He's got to leave that ball. He's got to use his feet. Mr. Paddy O'Brien, after lecturing him for a while, gives a penalty to South Africa.
Well taken by Skinstad. Here they go again. Now the Australians aren't there in numbers. They could really get some momentum going as Labuschagne works up towards the 22. De Kock, Russell, Barry, Joubert, Russell. Sydney is away. Russell is away. Russell will put South Africa in the lead.
Magical try there from young Brent Russell.
Well, if this mauling situation has been a call by Corné Krige, I would say it's wonderful captaincy, because they've taken them on guard.
This is fantastic work. As the ball is popped back inside, you've got to be a magician to come out of that tackle. He does come out of it, does Brent Russell. He turns on the heat. Look at that fantastic try.
Well, the Australian defence found wanting here. I think that the two of them just look there. Herbert goes in, Mortlock goes. He thought Herbert had him, and the little man wriggled his way free. Werner Greef, concentration, good kick, good strike.
Well, The defence was always going to be under pressure here, as that was wonderful work from the forwards as Maurice Jabeur stays on his feet long enough to get the ball on the inside. Magical work by the youngster as he turns on the gas, going over for his third try for South Africa.
Well, it just shows you what happens when a fly half follows up and gets involved in the play, and that kick is too deep. Joe van Niekerk was right on the line. Now, if he had a foot in touch when he caught it, that's okay. Now the crowd are really steamed up now.
Joe van Niekerk's foot in touch. Well, his right foot was in touch anyway, and his left foot in there.
Go! Let's go, Hap.
There goes the siren for half-time. Werner Greef. Dean Hall gives chase. Latham had a lot of ground to make there. Look at this. Dean Hall stopped. Latham deciding eventually to put it into touch. And that will be half-time. The referee apologising to Chris Latham, but it's been a great fight back by South Africa in the latter part of the second half. 6 tests, 3 tries to Brent Russell. This is going to be a humdinger of a second half as we go back to Randburg for the break.
Well, talk about a turnaround in the pace of the game. For 35 minutes, it was just a difference in class of goal kickers. But then the game was ignited. A try for Brayton Paulser and this one for Brent Russell. South Africa take a lead into the break, 14-9. Altitude in Johannesburg. Australia looked more tired of the two sides because South Africa, in the last 5 minutes of the first 40, have gone 14-9 in the lead, courtesy of tries from Brayton Paulser and Brent Russell. It looks as if it has shaken the Australians as well. Stuart, do you think they're going to have to force some changes in the second half?
I think if Eddie Jones made changes immediately, it would be a confession that he got it wrong. But at the moment, they're looking like Eddie's automatons. They're playing by numbers. It's not pretty. You know, I've been saying for a week I'd like to see Rogers start because I think this team has great ability, but it plays by numbers. Rogers is just a guy with flair. I'd get him on as soon as you can. I think they need someone to just bring fluidity to the game, John.
I think what they're doing is they're not doing their set plays well. They're not getting over the gain line. They're not getting any momentum onto the game at all. They're not playing with any enthusiasm, and that's got to change. Otherwise, it's going to be embarrassing for them.
Just before the players come back out for the second half, and we have another look at some of the replays. This again was the build-up to the Paulser try. Why aren't Australia going for the 4 tries and the 26 points? It seems as if they're just trying to settle for a win, Stuart.
I just get the feeling they thought they couldn't win by 26 and they wanted to be clever and say we'll beat South Africa by playing containment rugby. John said during the anthems he didn't think that the Aussies looked really fired up, and if you don't make your big tackles because you're not up for it, this team are just going to carve you up.
Exactly. I think, but what we do know about the Aussies is they battle all the way.
OK, players out, ready for the second half. Back to the commentary team of Garth Wright and Hugh Bladen.
And Paddy O'Brien restarts. I'm sure that the All Black supporters will have cheered every try, or the 2 tries that South Africa did score. But remember, the Wallabies have this wonderful ability to lift their game. Here they go. Latham, Jabeur up in his face. Well, it's been turned over by South Africa. De Kock. Russell came on the run. That was Greef. Barry, Paulser, Greef. About 7 metres out now. De Kock looking for the ball. Finds Dalton. Just decides to consolidate. De Kock, Russell. Wide for Joe van Niekerk. Here's AJ Venter. Gets it away. Paulser, good hands. Van Niekerk. De Kock. Now there was an opening there. This is Lawrence Sapaka. Bumps the men off. Smith eventually brings him to ground. De Kock. Russell. Labuschagne. Desperate defence by the Wallabies. Can De Kock get it if they go right now? If De Kock gets, must be a try. Brayton Paulser second. What a start for South Africa. Here's the gymnastics.
Well, glorious Brayton Paulser, ending it in style as always. This is wonderful continuity. Just look at Lawrence Parker. The body angle, goes to ground, secures the ball for South Africa. It's just short. Janus Labuschagne decides to have a probe. Again, wonderful body position. Pressure on Australia. They just need to get this ball back quickly, which they do. Lovely quick hands from Maurice Bear. Brayton Paulser with 4 players outside of him gets the 5 points.
Well, Werner Greef has added the extra 2, and this has been a wonderful period of play for South Africa. Marius Joubert just set it up with that wonderful pass, and here we got flick and a flack.
Well, what a way to start the second half. As the first half ended, South Africa on the rampage.
Well, now what have the Wallabies got to offer? Because they need to do an awful lot to try and win the Tri-Nations. Look at that by Mert Mortlock. Great take by him. Smith is in there. Larkham, Gregan, Finnegan, Thorpe, Sharp out forward. Tune, beautifully controlled by the right winger, gets it away. Sharp is there again. Advantage to South Africa. It's been knocked on. Well, the Wallabies immediately back with a rush. That man there has had a super game in open play. Janus Labuschagne.
Mortlock winning that ball for Australia. Benchu not getting the kindest of passes. Well, plays a bit of ping pong, goes on the inside. Brent Russell doing some cover defence as well.
De Kock, Greef. Well, under a lot of pressure from Gregan. That's a pretty good clearance.
Number 3.
It wasn't the best scrum for South Africa as Gregan puts the pressure on Greef. Millimeters separating that kick.
Down there from Kefu. Gregan at fly half. That's his tune.
He's fine. Okay, he's fine. No!
Gregan, Kefu. Strong holding up there by Van Niekerk.
Roll away!
Needs to get out of the way now. Gregan, Sharp, Herbert. Oh, Herbert gets rid of them all now. He's a big guy as Herbert. But the cover comes for South Africa to help Russell.
Come back.
Terrific build-up this by the Wallabies. Larkham. Another good tackle by one of the South African defenders, Gregan. Sharp. Hall manages to drag the big man down.
Go back.
Tune. Gregan. That was Darwin. Now they need to take their hands away there. Their hands were in the ruck. Look at the referee.
Not a ruck. You can't go into your hands now.
Well, the ruck had been formed and the South Africans were holding on to it. Interesting to see what George Gregan does here. Will he instruct Matt Burke to go for posts, or will he? Quite often Gregan takes a scrum in this situation. They need tries, do Australia.
There's that ball in the ruck situation. Janus Labuschagne cannot use his hands. Certainly see him go over and attempt to use them. Already the penalty was awarded. Hands in a ruck situation. Got to use your feet. Got to come in from behind. Drive over the ball. Well, the question is now, do they go for the try or the 3 points? My thoughts, they'll take the 3 points. Because a win is important also for Australia, yeah.
Well, they've decided to go for the line out. Interesting that Latham didn't really look to put it down to the 5 meter line. He just kicked it straight out. Sharp is at the back. Gregan. Tune. He's knocked it on. Advantage. Free kick to Australia. Too many men in the line out by the South Africans.
Scrum.
So this time George Gregan decides to go for the scrum ball.
Okay, I want you square. Yep. Engage. Let's go half.
Once more, it's a big scrum by South Africa. Now, Lawrence Sipaka all day seems to have the better of Ben Darwin.
You've got to bind him as well. Let's stay down.
Remember Ian McIntosh telling me how
Stay square for me.
impressed he was with Lawrence Sipaka's strength when we were in
Go
Argentina.
half.
Goes again. Kefu. Now he's taken off as Kefu. And the touch judge, in fact, wants a TMO call in on this. It's Jim Fleming from Scotland who is in charge.
If it is a try, I'll award it.
Television match
If it's not a try,
official.
I want to know where we restart, please.
Well, we get a slow look of it. It's a big tackle from Dean Hall from the side with Joe van Niekerk. Does it touch the ground first? That's on Dean Hall's hand.
Well, has he touched the corner flag? You can't see from that angle. Oh, it's a tough call. That really is a tough call. Here we may be able to see it. I think maybe his arms touched the flag, but Jim Fleming from Scotland, the ball's still off the ground, and it's a very tough call here for Jim Fleming.
Yeah, I'm ready now, Jim.
I think he touched the corner flag.
Yes. Thanks very much, Jim. Cheers. 22.
It's a 22 dropout. So relief for South Africa, disappointment particularly for this man here as he took off the base of the scrum, and Joe van Niekerk and Dean Hall did yeoman work there. Greef. Kefu. Tune. Given a lot of space, Ben Tune. Eventually runs into David Barry.
Down, go. That'll do, that'll do. Yep, yeah,
You certainly got to lift your hats to the South African defence for the last 5 minutes. They were on their try line. Australia had at least 6 or 7 good second phase ball, and the defence of South Africa held out right to the end.
Guys.
Another target.
Number 3. Leave it, leave
It's
it.
Willie Meyer who's penalised, and I think the indication will be scrumming inwards. But the
Number 3.
South African front row are putting those Wallabies under a lot of pressure at the scrums. Matt Burke. So the Wallabies desperately seeking that elusive try.
Spoke early on the strength of South Africa in that front row. Lawrence Sipaka. We don't get a really good view of it, but Willie Meyer penalised for coming in.
Well taken by Harrison. Kefu. Stopped again by van Niekerk. Gregan. Smith. Gregan. Finnegan. Good low tackle that time. It was a wonderful tackle. Now chance here for Mortlock. Desperate to get out of AJ Fenter's clutches.
Go back, go back.
Gregan, Larkham, Herbert. Joubert makes the tackle. Eventually it was Skinstad who was in there with a boot. Knocked on by the Wallabies. So they're looking just as though they're getting a little bit desperate, but you saw that low tackle. That's Corne Krige, captain courageous.
Play on. No. Play on. Come on.
It's a good ball for Gregan. Slowed up a little bit by South Africa as the ball comes out wide in the inside of De Wet Barry, but Maurice Joubert does extremely well to cover his inside partner as that ball goes loose. Skinstad with a hoof, and I thought maybe he should have dived on that ball and secured it for South Africa.
There'll definitely be instructions for Corne Krige, apart from trying to fix up his ribs. I'm sure there will be instructions from Willie Schmidt, who is attending to Corne Krige. Remember in the New Zealand test he seemed to have a bit of a problem with his ribs as well. Now South Africa one man short in the scrum. De Kock, Russell, Greef. Took a little bit too much time. Burke with the charge down.
Are we okay there, Elaine? Yeah, okay.
That's called high-risk rugby, and South Africa are paying a price for it. As you see the Mexican wave go around Ellis Park.
Well, it's wonderful here at Ellis Park to see the packed stands, and Corne Krige looks like that's it for him for the day.
Are you captain?
And so we will have, no doubt, Henro Scores coming on. Bobby Skinstad takes over the captaincy. Well taken there by Sharp, Gregan, Larkham, Latham. He's scragged by Barry.
Stay back, stay back, stay back.
Gregan, Sharp.
Against which time, Chris?
Well, big maul that by the Wallabies. Mortlock right over on the right wing. Dean Hall doing strong work.
Everyone disappear. Everyone disappear.
The touch judge, I think, has something to say to Paddy O'Brien.
Players on the floor.
Yep.
The Australians playing the ball back. Yep. With a 12 South African centre.
12 or 13.
12. Yep. Punched him in the head when he was on the floor.
Okay, Jim, if you're listening, if it is definitely number 12, he's going to the bin.
Well, there was a punch earlier on.
Number 12, Green.
Punch on the floor.
I agree.
De Wet Barry will go to the bin.
Okay, on the floor, a punch went in, single touchdown.
Hold on, sir.
That's what spoils a good game, and to this game, does not need it.
It's quite interesting that earlier on the touch judge went on and said Nathan Sharp was punching.
Go away, guys. Chris.
Well, that is right in front of the touch judge and totally unnecessary. The Wallabies have Matt Cobain on the field, and I haven't as yet seen Henro Scores.
Stop, guys, hold it.
Well, he is on the field now. Willie Meyer. It's well taken by Cobain.
Come out, Green. No, keep it going.
Now the Wallabies doing to the Springboks what they did to the Wallabies in the last 5 minutes of the first half. Dalton in strongly there. Gregan, Paul. Great tackle there by
It was certainly Neil de Kock, and he's had some outstanding tackles today. He really has been a stalwart in the defence. He gets high fives from all his teammates around him, and that was a try-saving tackle from the youngster from the Stormers. Just look how low he goes into this tackle situation. He's up against a big man. Jeremy Paul drops his shoulder. Perfect tackle, Neil de Kock.
good take by AJ Fenter.
Watch your face.
Dalton with ball in hand. Tackled by Jeremy Paul. Now the South Africans via Dean Hall.
Stay back. Stay back. Stay back.
De Kock, Greef. Well, South Africa have held out for 13 minutes in this half. Of course, they scored that super try very early on, but since then, it's been all Australia playing the rugby, South Africa defending. Cobain, Kefu, Gregan, Herbert. Good tackle and smother tackle by Werner Greef. Gregan again, taken forward by Sharp. He's a big man, Sharp, at 2 meters tall.
Come out, Green, come out, leave it! Advantage!
Oh, that's a bit of indiscretion by one of the South African players. Came in too early on to George Gregan. Werner Greef and George Gregan just exchanging pleasantries there. I think it was Werner Greef who was over-eager. Well, one kick to touch has not worked out for them. Oh, Paddy O'Brien wants to have a chat with the captains.
Number 9. Now that we've got the charges for a small break, take the king away for 10 seconds. Let's just bring this game down half a notch. Okay, for the chip shots and everything else. Everything else is great. It's a good game of rugby. Let's bring it down just half a notch. Go and talk to them.
Well, one must say that Paddy O'Brien, I think, has had a very good game. You heard what he had to say to Bob Skinstad and George Gregan.
Oh, no. Yeah, hold it. Wait.
I've got to think to myself that George Gregan's going to take the scrum. There's 15 players against 14. That'll force South Africa to take one of their players out and maybe bring him into the back line. They'll be scrumming against 7. Here you see the situation as the ball works onto the blind side. Is that front running? Is that front banking of the ball? That's the question that you have to ask yourself. And Werner Greef flying in from the side.
Well, South Africans putting pressure on that scrum again with... just having a look, have they got 7 men in the scrum, or they've put all 8 in the scrum? Gregan, good tackle by Van Niekerk. Now Cobain goes through the middle with Sharp. Smith is there, so is Jeremy Paul, number 2. Smith.
Come back, Green, leave it!
Gregan, Larkham. Burke, and Hall was there and well picked up by Labuschagne, up for Hendro Scors.
No.
And it's a turnover by South Africa. De Kock, Greef. He's lifted that high in the air. Latham. He hasn't had too many opportunities to run, Chris Latham. Well taken by Matt Rogers. Now Smith will give chase, but ball into touch. There's the son of the former Australian Rugby League great, who was Steve Rogers. There's George Smith, just turned 22. Matt Rogers has taken over from Ben Tune, so the replacements are plenty coming on, with Jeremy Paul coming off and Brendan Cannon going on. Well, you can understand the Wallaby frustration as they've pressed for a great deal of this second half, and here goes that South African maul over the 22, gaining plenty of valuable ground. De Kock, Greef. That time Werner Greef had plenty of time just to get that ball that far downfield. Latham. Well, the touch judge going up to just a metre inside South Africa's half with Dalton's throw-in.
It's a great tactic from Werner Greef, putting the ball right over the top. forcing the Australians to fall back, forcing Latham to kick it into touch. South Africa put in. Very important that they control the ball right now. They've got 14 players on the field. They want to slow things down, waiting for Barry to get back on the field.
Good jump by Labuschagne, one of the players of the game.
Come out.
Can see Van Rotenbach there, number 17. He's on for Willie Meyer. Still South Africa control the ball. They've taken the Australians on in this area now. AJ Venter, Strong, De Kock, Russell. Darts inside, but not inside George Smith. De Kock. Is that a little bit too narrow? Yeah, he didn't really intend that direction, I don't think.
The idea was good. He wanted to go for the corner, didn't execute it perfectly.
Okay.
But South Africa will receive from the 22.
Well, the big point now is that have South Africa weathered that storm. Ben Tune back on the field. So Matt Rogers will leave the scene. In fact, Chris Latham will come off and Matt Rogers will go to full-back. Werner Greef. Was given that a huge hoof and has found a super touch. Brendan Cannon with the throw, well taken by Cobain. Cannon. Van Niekerk is standing up to him.
Leave it.
Gregan. Tune. He's just outside his 22 when he kicked, but that, of course, doesn't matter. Russell. Now, this little fellow can shift, and he's nippy. Look how he's just sidestepped George Smith there. De Kock. Greef. Rogers. Mortlock with a bit of space here. Paulser gets back to defend. This is Johannes Labuschagne. Dalton in there. There goes De Kock. Greef. If they go wide and straight here, Dean Hall. Skinstad needs to go straight. Get his hands through beautifully. Joe van Niekerk, watch this for a sprint. The heart of Joburg will go mad about that.
Well, as Ellis Park has just erupted. What a glorious try.
What a wonderful layoff there by Bob Skinstad. That's the man who set Joe van Niekerk up for his second test try.
Well, Skinstad had to straighten out. He had to ride the tackle, get the pass in behind Ben Tune, which he did, and offloaded Joe van Niekerk, who we all know has pace aplenty, to get one of the greatest tries I've seen for a long time from South Africa. Look at that wonderful work from Bob Skinstad. Took out two men, threw the behind the pass of Ben Tune's back, and Joe van Niekerk gets the glory.
Well, 4 tries to none for South Africa. Werner Greef has converted 3 of them and hits the upright. Schooled in Johannesburg, Lions schools, Golden Lions under 21s, captain of South Africa under 21s. But what a pass by Skinstad. Well, that could just be a little bit of cramp for Skinstad. The young man really has had a super game today on defence. He's been very solid. See that Rod Moore is now on the field for the Wallabies. And right now it looks as if New Zealand are going to win the Tri-Nations Trophy. AJ Fenter.
Accidental. Scrum. Not you, Hamid, in front of you. Accidental.
Bola Conradi on the field after Neil de Kock leaves the scene, and he can hold his head very, very high.
Work for me. Give him a shoulder. No! Break. Okay, guys, half a step closer. Come closer. Gage. Go hard. Push him, mate.
Here goes Kefu. Well tackled by Scholes. Gregan, Larkham, Herbert. This is Matt Rogers. He's very dangerous. Whoa, he gets the ball down. Matt Rogers so often comes onto the field and gets a try.
Keep the tackles down.
A lot of time on the board, and Kefu takes it up. It's an aggressive run from him. Scholes doesn't take him on the first hit, but on the second, the ball's moved out wide. It's quality ball for Australia. It's the skip pass. Matt Rogers with a pace and a beautiful angle. Makes a meal of it, but gets it down. Big attempt there from Van der Greef to keep Matt Rogers up in the air, in the in-goal area.
Come on, Gabby. Thank you, I just got it now, John.
So that man there who's made the transition from rugby league so successfully. See the bump there by Brent Russell just under the armpit. That's fair enough. And Rogers ultimately doing pretty well to get the ball down. So this kick by Matt Burke will, if successful, the points difference will be 10. It's not all over yet by any manner of means. We've seen how the Wallabies can move up a gear, as they did particularly in Sydney against the All Blacks. But they haven't scored for 43 minutes. Been on song all day, and that's perfect again. So we have 16 minutes left and 10 points in it.
Well, Kefu did the damage. Greef taken out there by Sharp. Obstruction in front of the ball carrier. Wasn't picked up by Mr. Paddy O'Brien, understandably, as that ball moved out wide. Rogers with wonderful pace. Swerve on the inside. Try Australia.
Sharp.
Come out from the back, Green. Stay there, stay there.
Gregan, Larkham. Now the Wallabies, I'm sure, will throw the ball around that. Looked a bit high, advantage to the Wallabies. Oh, Larkham just boots it out because of the advantage.
Keep them down. That's what starts trouble. No more. No more.
Instinctive, yeah, from Greef around the neck. It's on the neck.
So it will be a penalty to Australia. No doubt they'll go for touch.
Absolutely, you. But you've got to think to yourself right now, South Africa cannot play this game to just defend this lead. South Africa have to play this game to win today. They've got to put everything in it. They've got to attack the Australians. They cannot stand back and watch, because this is a good Australian team. Given an opportunity, can still sneak back into this game.
Couldn't agree with you more, Garth. And of course, with the 7 points for a goal, that 10-point margin is not a huge cushion. See Ollie Leroux there, number 16. So both coaches have rung the changes. Sharp, Gregan, Larkham, Kefu. We got rid of David Barry. Now they're on the go here by Herbert. Then Burke did well to control that ball. Gregan. Bounding forward is Brendan Cannon. Gregan, Larkham. Now was he stopped? Was that a late tackle? Yes, says referee Paddy O'Brien. So South Africa a little guilty of having given away some unnecessary penalties. You see, you can't just move into a guy with your shoulder. Watch Larkham here.
Chip and charge over the top. 3 or 4 Springbok players in the way. I can't believe they were purposefully in the way.
Well, you see, Marius Joubert had put out an arm. Larkham had already kicked it. And so you can't keep your arm there to hinder him. So I think it's a fair enough call by the referee. Well, if the Wallabies had to score now, we will have 10 minutes of furious action. And as Garth Wright so correctly said, the Springboks, the worst thing they could do is try and defend the lead. Cannon. This is where Australia are very dangerous. With Matt Rogers lurking from the fullback position. Ben Tune will be looking to do some running off the ball from the right wing position. Kefu might go short side. See, Kefu is bound reasonably loosely. Gregan. This is Burke.
Let it go!
Gregan again. Now they go bashing, and South Africa just holding on desperately. Larkham, Rogers. Advantage, says referee. Look, he's still playing advantage. This is Daniel Herbert. Frantic stuff.
Still playing advantage.
Gregan, wide for Kefu, and Kefu gets the try. One would say good advantage to Australia there by Paddy O'Brien.
We spoke earlier about that gear that Australia have got, and they've certainly put it into use as they stepped up the speed. The ball's coming back fast and furious. Kefu on the inside. Great try for Australia.
Well, after this kick, there will be just over 10 minutes to go. And the difference, just 3 points. The Australians will not get what they were looking for in terms of a 26 points difference, but it's going to be frantic stuff now.
It's just the quality of the ball that they're getting at the moment. It is recycled so quickly, doesn't give the Springboks enough time to spread out and get their man inside his Kefu of Werner Greeff. Super try.
So Tatai Kefu, just one test to go after today for his 50 test matches. And that was his 9th try. Smith. Worked out by Cannon. Bull Young. Gregan, lot of possession for the Wallabies. at this stage. Bounding forward there was David Lyons. Now it's Cobain. Young. Chance here for Larkham to move it there to Rogers. Another high tackle. Now that could be a yellow card.
Yeah, I got it, mate. I got it.
Because there may have been a warning.
No, he's going off. 13.
He's going
Come
off.
here. That's twice today. It's not good enough. I'm sorry, you're gone.
Well, it's twice. It's a red card. Well, in fact, if it had been a yellow card, it wouldn't have been much different, because he would have been off for the rest of the duration of the game with only 10 minutes to go. But he's been red carded, so disappointment for Marius Joubert.
Well, I feel it in my water. This is a big ask of the Springboks right now. 14 players on the field. Barry's back on, so it's definitely 14 players on the park. It's again the speed of the ball. Comes on the inside, does Matt Rogers. And Maurice Joubert should have just left him.
Gregan. More clock. The Wallabies in full flight now. Gregan. Kefu.
Tackle, leave it. Let it go. No, leave it.
Larkham. Well tackled by Greef. Still the Wallabies have it. Popped up for Sharp. Very nearly Barry, who got in the advantage to the Wallabies. Now can they score here? Rogers, Burke. More clock. Well, they could well come back for a penalty if the advantage doesn't accrue to the Wallabies. Cobain. Kefu. Sharp. Tackler holding on to the ball. Watch Gregan. Takes the drop kick. That is over. And the scores are level. What a fight back this by the Wallabies. And I couldn't agree with you more, Garth. I think you called it. That you said that the South Africans were going to rest on their laurels, defend the lead. And the Wallabies have moved up a gear. The scores are level. But I can't see them scoring another 26.
Bobby Skinstad's the captain at the moment with Corné Krige off. He's certainly just going to have to settle matters down at the moment. Try and get that ball back to their forwards. Play a little bit closer. Use them on the drive and slow matters up.
Sharp.
No problem.
Picked up by Cobain. The Wallabies still controlling the ball. South Africa have hardly had any of the ball in the last 10 minutes. Larkham, Rogers. Tackle by Oli Leroux. There's going to be an advantage. Has been knocked on. That could be a telling factor in the game. Now, Conrady's been on the field for 6 or 7 minutes, and we've hardly called his name, which means that South Africa have had precious little ball. In fact, I don't recall Buller Conrady touching the ball.
Certainly not as sharp. And Giannis Labuschagne puts his body on the line yet again for South Africa. Sharp getting the ball back for Australia. With 7 minutes on the clock, what do you do if you're in Bobby Skinstad's shoes? You've got a wonderful position. You've got to strike surely. You've got to go for the win here. You can't take it easy. I don't believe they're going to send it back for a snap drop. I think they must go for the try.
Remember, they won short in the backs. Russell at fly half. Werner Greef is way out on the left side of the field. And the Wallabies have messed the South African scrum up and win it. Will win the put into the scrum.
That's a poor right shoulder there from Oli Leroux. Just when South Africa needed a solid right shoulder.
No ball,
It's
guys.
Australia
No ball.
that just drives us back.
South Africa has scrummed so well all day and just lost it there. In fact, Oli Leroux's in the hooking position and Van Rotenbach is there. Good strong work there by Hendro Scholes. Gregan, Rogers, Mortlock, and great cover there by Joe van Niekerk. Well, there's only been one draw before between these two countries in 49 test matches.
Brayton Paulser and Joe van Niekerk with a cover defence. Great work from him as well.
The draw was last year at 14-all in Perth. Ollie Leroux with the throw. Skinstad couldn't get. This is George Smith in space. George Smith, has he the pace to go all the way? Paulser gets back, stays on his feet. Now that looks like it's Brendan Cannon who's got in for the try. It is. Look how excited Gregan is. It's Cannon who got the try for the Wallabies, and this game has turned around completely.
Well, South Africa's put in. Bobby Skinstad doesn't get the ball. It's George Smith on the inside shimmy of Johannes Labuschagne, and boy does he show a clean pair of heels. Wise option of going for the corner, brings the ball back in the inside to Brendan Cannon. He's got the strength to go over. What a great try for Australia. Disappointing for South Africa, however. Own put in, no excuses for that. That ball should have gone to Bobby Skinstad in the hand. George Smith gets the chance to get a breakaway. Stays in his feet extremely well. Listens to the communication from Cannon. Cannon with a try and the glory. Australia in the lead.
Well, it was a wonderful run by that man, and then Brendan Cannon from the hooking position to be up in support. So the lead of 26-9 has been whittled away, just curving away for Matt Burke. That was try number 3 for the Wallabies.
Let's have a look at the line out. Bob Skinstad going for the ball, doesn't get near him. And you've got to take your hat off to George Smith. Swerves on the inside, lovely leg strength, pops it back in, great support. Hendro Scholes can't do the damage in the tackle. Try Australia.
Well, has South Africa got anything left now? As it's taken by Nathan Sharp. Tackle by Rautenbach. Well laid back for Gregan. It's all Wallabies at the moment. This is Daniel Herbert. South Africa starting to miss tackles more and more now because of the 114 men to the pressure put on by the Australians. And I would say that Conradi came on, Garth, with about 15-18 minutes to go, and as yet hasn't touched the ball, apart from feeding the scrum, which South Africa lost. Skinstad wasn't expecting it, but did well to take the ball. Will South Africa run it? Russell, Barry, no advantage, so there will be a penalty to South Africa.
Thank you. 2 minutes, Captain.
2 minutes left. They need to gain some ground here. Will that be out? It's a very good kick by Werner Greef. That will set up an opportunity for South Africa. Big point is, can they get the possession and drag this game out of the fire?
Certainly from here, they want to go for Johannes Labuschagne. Drive off of him, drive straight through the middle and put the pressure on Australia.
Stefan de Blanche on the field. Here goes Supaka. Well, look at the pressure that the forwards were under there. Conradi, Russell. Oh, he's dipped and very nearly got through Brent Russell. Now they need to recycle. Some mountaineering there. Need to be a little bit careful in those situations. That's Matt Cobain.
Gabby, don't sound it till I say, mate. Yeah, Gabby,
well, earlier I got it wrong, I blame Ollie Leroux, but certainly Ollie and Van Rotenbach have to give South Africa a right shoulder. This is a vital scrum. Brent Russell weaving his magic almost through the gap. Eye of the needle, actually, hardly a gap. And there's the mountaineering from Hendro Scholz on Cobain. Cobain falling in an offside position, slowing the ball from coming out for South Africa, and should be towed for that.
Fellas, let's work real hard on this one. Real hard. All right, you've got to bind.
Well, they said it would be a high-scoring game, did the knowledgeable critics. It certainly has been that. Can South Africa get their 5th try? Skinstad.
Advantage.
And it's good advantage, says referee. Knocked forward by one of the Wallaby tacklers. So another opportunity for South Africa. This could be the last set piece of the game.
Okay, we're playing.
Skinstad has a plan.
Ready. Yep. Yeah. Once the ball's out of the...
Bobby Skinstad picks up the ball, shimmy of the ball, shows it nicely. Larkham with a tackle and the knock out of his hand.
Well, also that South African scrum has gone to pieces a little bit. Skinstad to Blanche. There goes the siren. Referee indicates that he's heard it. Well taken by Scholz. Now, can South Africa keep the ball alive long enough? Look at the Australian defenders there. Labuskaghni. Rotenbach goes in. Conradi, Russell, wide for Skinstad. Van Niekerk is there. Skinstad well tackled there by, amongst others, Gregan. Another ball for South Africa. Oh, Werner! Look at this!
Miraculous from Werner Greef. Glory to the Springboks as everybody's out of their seats here at Ellis Park.
Well, what a wonderful run off the ball there by Werner Greef, and Corne Krige is so excited. Look at all the South Africans, and now what is going to happen, of course, is that man has to kick the conversion attempt.
Well, Greef's angle and the speed at which he took that ball would have been impossible to stop, and it's glory for Werner Greef. Fantastic angle of running. Fantastic turn of the pace and strength through the tackle, Werner Greef.
Well, the South Africans have really celebrated this, but now, can Werner Greef kick this goal? The South Africans, probably a number of them won't even watch this kick. They'll just listen to the reaction from the crowd. Greef needs to just keep his cool. He's struck them pretty smoothly. Keep your cool, keep your head down. Follow through, remember everything you've been taught. But look at the Wallabies charging up. He's kicked it dead centre. And the Springboks celebrate.
That is absolutely a glorious sight to see. The Springboks absolutely embracing Werner Greef, who really did everything he could, scored the try, took the pressure, put the 2 points on the board. South Africa won the test. What a fantastic test it was. We spoke about it being a humdinger, and I talked about action, and this is the right place to be. It certainly has been.
Well, it certainly was an exciting end to the game. Look at Skinstad. Can't believe it, really. I shouldn't think that they thought they were dead and buried. 14 men down, and Skinstad is excited as anybody, and no wonder. The Wallabies came back 26 points to 9 down they were, and then they came back again. Look at that kick. I mean, it's just straight over the red of the crossbar, and there's the reaction. Lars Buerta knows about that sort of pressure, but does Werner Greef, and Corne Krige just going for a slip and a slide there. It's a great excitement for South Africa. But let's face it, this is the Tri-Nations Championships. The sum total of the whole thing is that New Zealand are the winners, and one would say pretty worthily so too. They've been the most consistent side in the competition, and the hoodoo for the Wallabies at Ellis Park continues. The last time they won here was in the third test back in 1963. I was at that test match, and Norman Riley played fly half for South Africa, and that's the last time, nearly 40 years ago, that the Wallabies beat South Africa at Ellis Park. Lawrence Sipaka had a superb game, Garth.
Lawrence Parker was fantastic. His scrumming was outstanding. He drove on the loose ball. He picked up and drove. He really was one of the unsung heroes over here. AJ Fenter as well. Well,
it's a great relief for Rudolf Stroili. At last he gets a win, and for South Africa keep their record of never having been whitewashed. Silas Nkanunu, the president of the South African Rugby Union, is there. He's actually a real gentleman, Rudolf Stroili, and he will get in amongst his players, and he knows he was here at the death in the World Cup in 1995. He was the number 8 when Joel Stransky kicked his drop, and the South Africans, apart from the relief, I think they thought they had the game wrapped up.
How do you sum that one up? What an end to the game of the tournament. Werner Kreef picking a line for his nation. He converted it as well. The glory is his. South Africa are back. 33-31 the final score, when it looked as if all hope had gone. But amongst all the excitement there, you forget, or you might have forgotten, that New Zealand have won the Tri-Nations title, because Australia failing to win there, failing to get the bonus point, failing to score 4 tries or more, that won't bother the New Zealanders. They are the Tri-Nations champions, and South Africa have avoided the whitewash. Well done to them. A look now at the great lineup today on Sky Sports. On Sky Sports 1 tonight at 6, there's Super League action as Salford take on Wakefield. That's followed at 8 by top-class boxing from Cardiff as Joe Calzaghe takes on Miguel Jimenez. On Sky Sports 2 now, there's back-to-back golf action with the Travis Perkins Seniors Masters, and from 4, the US PGA Championship, Day 3. Over on Sky Sports 3 at 5:30, our coverage of the Football League continues with Grimsby versus Derby. Meanwhile, on Sky Sports Extra now, it's cricket, Day 4 of the County Championship match between Lancashire and Yorkshire. That's your lineup today here on Sky Sports. But the story from Ellis Park in Johannesburg is that Werner Kreef lifted a nation. He scored the winning try, he converted it as well, and that's what it meant to his captain, who had to gone off. The final score, 33-31, will discuss absolutely everything when we come back. Well, I think it'd be safe to say that the car parks around Ellis Park in Johannesburg might be quite a lively place to be this evening. South Africa have pulled off a monumental victory, and they did it in injury time as well. South Africa 33, Australia 31 the final score. And remember, South Africa played the last 10 minutes with 14 men as well. That is a win that will lift a nation. What it means to the final standings, that amongst all the excitement, New Zealand Tri-Nations champions for the first time since 1999. Australia couldn't make it a hat-trick of titles. They finished second. South Africa the wooden spoon, but ending on a high note. Well, has anyone got their breath back? Fantastic stuff towards the end there, Stuart. It was brilliant. Just what the Tri-Nations throws up time and time again.
Well, the neutrals, Barnes and Gallagher, rose as one when that kick went over. We both felt that South Africa had been so progressive that they deserved to get something out of it. And Werner Kreef, I mean, he picked a line that came from the bottom of the Indian Ocean to take that try-scoring pass. Wonderful score. I mean, they kept their nerve, didn't they? Skinstad, we'd seen him put away a wonderful try-scoring pass, but this time he thought, it's not on, don't force it. This was cool. And then from nowhere, I mean, that is a hell of a line, John.
Great line.
I mean, it's one of the world's greatest ever fullbacks. You will appreciate that.
But what it was as well, though, is that we were in the studio, we were quite critical. When the South Africans went up, they put Russell to fullback and Kreef to fly half, and it wasn't working because the whole time they went on the back foot. We said, we've got this 21-9 lead, let's defend it. And nearly backfired big time. But Crieff, he actually hasn't run from a fly half spot, he's run from a full-back spot and actually gone through, and a great try.
And then it wasn't as if it was all over then, was it? Because he'd spooned the first kick today, and then the pressure was really on the whole of Ellis Park watching.
Look at it. It was only going to go one place, wasn't it? You know, he was on such a high, and he struck it well and true. And look at the response. Obviously, corner Krieger there, but that's Nas Botha behind him. One of the greatest kicking fly halves South Africa's ever had.
You said it was only going to go one place, but when we were sat here at the time, you didn't think, you just prayed that, I suppose, that he wasn't going to make a mess of it.
You didn't want him to miss it. He's had a good tournament, and that would have scarred him. South Africa didn't need a draw today, they needed a win, and we were going spot, line, follow through, deep breath. He did it all, he kept his nerve, and I think South Africa, they'd be very pleased because they made a big error tactically and they got away with it. And when you learn a lesson and still win, that is a result.
Well, in case you've been stuck at the bar for the last 40 minutes, let's take you back to the start of the second half and work our way through chronologically, because there was quite a story building all the way through that first half. South Africa built on the lead that they developed before half-time. That man again.
Fast hands, good hands, Marius Joubert. Breaking Paulser, going over. Getting the try allowed this week. Similar try disallowed last week with his victory celebration.
Where was the Aussie defence?
Well, Lawrence Safaka does very well. He had a very good game, Lawrence Safaka, you know, the big prop. And basically, they've run out of numbers. You know, they moved it wide. South Africa have always shown ambition to get the ball wide. And as a result, you know, Van Niekerk has been everywhere today, as he has been the whole Tri-Nations. Great hands there, and they've just run out of numbers. But what it is, they have this ambition to throw the ball wide and running good lines. You've got players like Skinstad, like Van Niekerk, okay, always looking to support play as well.
Other thing they did, they kept the ball. Early on, we saw Safaka running into those situations, losing control. If you remember, there was one of the tries in the first half. Safaka was the man who came in for Brighton Paulter's first one. There again, under the post, they didn't want him to go all the way. They just wanted him to hit back, and he did it very well. That was great play by the front row forward, but I must say, the next try, I mean, I thought there were two moments of rugby brilliance of the highest world-class order. One of them is this. The try goes to Van Niekerk, one of the players of the tournament, Skinstad here. Well,
top draw. I mean, he straightens up and he throws the ball around the back of Ben Choon. You know, Ben Choon goes down in a screaming heap as he's seen the ball pass him to Niekerk. You know, great try.
He's one of the finds of the tournament, surely. I mean, the amount of pace he's got for an open side. Do you think this guy's got a huge future ahead of him?
Well,
he's got a huge present.
He's got a pretty decent present, hasn't he? I mean, I think McCaw's been the player of the tournament, but Van Niekerk has been one of the attacking players in this tournament.
I think together with AJ Venter in the second row, doing the dog work. Labuschagne, you're a big fan of his. He's played really well throughout the Tri-Nations. They've got enough dogs in there to allow your Skinstad, your Van Niekerks to really play to their strengths.
Yes, they have, yeah.
That was South Africa into a 26-9 lead, but something sparked an Australian revival, and it always seems to come through this man, Matt Rogers.
Well, I called him Eddie's automatons. I thought they were playing by numbers. We were screaming for Rogers to come on. And watch this. This is the second moment of rugby genius. What a line that is. The balance. Well,
he had to show strength and balance to get over the line there because, you know, Tana Umanga last week, you know, was felled in a similar tackle that far out and they got a penalty try, but he shows such balance and poise. But what I really enjoyed is the change of angle at the last minute. Here we go. Bang, straight on the inside track, come through, and then he's going to one side, he cuts inside Brent Russell, and he has the strength and power to go over the line and score a good try.
Out and in, wasn't it? I mean, Herbert was on the drift. When you're centre drifts, you want your full-back to cut back, and he cut back at a great rate of knots. And even though there was, in fact, a cross by David Lyons, which should have disallowed that try, I'd have given it anyway because that was world-class.
Is he going to remain an impact player for much longer, do you think?
No, I don't think so. I think if Eddie Jones has any humility, he's got to learn that he's got to find someone who can do something spectacular. The Boks are working that out. I think he has to play because he's got that something special.
With the exception of 10 minutes in Brisbane a few weeks ago, I felt the Aussies have had a fairly pedestrian Tri-Nations. They may be sort of playing the betting game and getting their odds long for next year, but they're off the pace at the moment.
Let's keep moving through with the story though of that second half. Sorry to interrupt there, Stuart, but Tutai Kefu, he got them back to within a whisker. 3 points was the deficit once he'd gone over for his try.
Well, this came because South Africa had, as we said, they'd put Russell back to full-back, Crieff was kicking ball away, and South Africa were backing off them. It's a good step from Kefu. We've seen him do this so often. But in the first half, the Boks were tackling around the knees. They were in the South African face. Suddenly, look at them. They're standing back and they're waiting. It was like New Zealand against Australia. They were almost scared to win, and I thought they'd blown it at this stage. Even though the Boks were still in front, I felt that with that score, Australia were going to go away and win because they had that inner strength, and it looked as if South Africa didn't have it.
Saying that, what Stuart said about tackling around the knees, the best exponent of that during the game was Neil de Kock, the scrum half. And he went off. He went off. James Dalton came off. The line-outs were perfect up to then. Then all of a sudden, things start creaking a bit.
I think they got the win, even though tactically, Rudy Strowley got a number of things wrong in the second half. The overall shape, some of the substitutions, and of course we had Marius Hubert was then sent off because of the South African swinging tackle technique. So they're down to 14 men, and suddenly, the line-out's going. You just said it. Poor old Ollie LaRue, the Burger King, overthrows.
He loves you. He loves it when you call him.
Here he goes. George Smith, great run. Great, good step inside and out through Safaka. Fair enough. Okay, but what I love about Smith here is he stays on his feet and he starts looking for support.
Look at that awareness.
Great insight. Brendan Cannon thinks all his Christmases have come at once. He's only been on the field about 10 minutes and he's got to try, thinking that they won the game. South Africa are down to 14 players. Their heads are down. Aussie, you think we've got it won?
That's a great pass, John, isn't it? The awareness there.
Absolutely superb. Well, after that, it's George Gregan did a big celebration. I'm pretty sure he had the game won by that stage.
Almost an air of inevitability when they went over for that one. 31 points to 26. But let's just have another look at the man who held his nerve. Stuart, just how much pressure on the kick?
Listen, it looks really easy at Test match rugby. He's only 10 yards to the left of the post. All of the nations watching. He's fluffed the first, but he comes to the key moment of the play. He delivers his line to perfection. Matt Burke, one of the world's great kickers, missed the conversion to put them 7 clear. Werner Grief, a young full-back, keeps his nerve, and the Bokkers deserve that one.
I wonder which side of the walkabout or any other of those Antipodean or Springbok bars are going to be smiling today. It looks like it's going to be the South Africans because a famous victory for them. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we'll have more reaction from Ellis Park in Johannesburg. Don't go away. High drama at altitude, that was the story of the day. South Africa running out winners courtesy of their latest hero, Werner Grief, cutting a great line in injury time, converting his own score as well, and that has lifted South Africa's spirits because they've beaten Australia in Johannesburg. And the table, the final table in Tri-Nations 2002 looks like this. New Zealand are the winners. Australia stumbling at the final hurdle, although it was going to be a bit of a mountain to climb on the final day. South Africa finishing with the wooden spoon, but as we said, with their spirits lifted. Let's get across to the presentations in Johannesburg right now.
Folks, before we present the trophies and introduce the dignitaries to you here on the stage, we'd like to call up the losing captain this afternoon, George Gregan, to come up to the podium, please. George Gregan. What a lot of folks might not realise is that both captains today were born in Zambia in the same hospital, George Gregan and Corné Krige. George, you obviously got to be devastated. I mean, obviously, first of all, you were going for the Tri-Nations win today, right?
Yeah, we were going for the win first, and South Africa were too good. They did really well at the end, and they came away with a tight win.
When you guys were 9-0 up, you must have thought, great start. We set up a nice platform now to go and get the 26-point margin.
Well, we wanted to get off to a good start, which we did, but South Africa bounced back in that last 2 minutes before half-time, scored a couple of good tries, and we had to fight really hard to get back into the game.
And when you guys went in front of them, you must have thought you had it. When you guys went in front at the end there, you must have thought you had the game wrapped up.
Well, we didn't think we had it. Like, we knew there was still 4 or 5 minutes, and you got to play the full 80 minutes, and we didn't execute those last few minutes well, hence they came away with the win.
Well, thank you for a very entertaining Vodacom Tri-Nation. George, travel safely when you go home.
Thanks a lot.
George Gregan, ladies and gentlemen. And now, ladies and gentlemen, to present the trophies. The first trophy, the Mandela Trophy, goes to the winning captain. It is presented by Maketo Mandela, who is the son of former President Nelson Mandela and Silas Nkununu, the SAFU president. The Mandela Trophy comes home at last. Corné Krige, Springbok captain. And ladies and gentlemen, there's more silverware, Corner. You might want to get someone to help you up here, because the Vodacom trophy is also presented to the winning captain by Mr. Silas Nkununu, and also Vodacom's operations director, Mr. Andries Delport. Can we please have the Vodacom trophy going to the Springbok captain, Corne Krige? All right, Corne, feel like any more trophies? I think it's enough for today. What are you doing to us? That was far too close for comfort.
Yeah, again, we played well in the first half and the first bit of the second half, and then we allowed them to come back, but I'm very chuffed in the way we ended.
All right, the last 20 minutes of the first half, the first 20 minutes of the second half, we thought you guys were going to do Loftus all over again. Just take us through that second half. Where did it go a little bit pear-shaped?
Well, I'm not quite sure. I got the injury and I went off, and I think we put a few substitutes on, and that disrupted us a little bit. But I'm very happy with the way the guys played at the end. You know, that's been our Achilles heel in the last few games, is that we couldn't finish off in the last few minutes. You know, we in their half, and we played really well and managed to score that try at the end, which was great.
Fantastic. I know you were jumping around on the side of the field. I hope you didn't do yourself any more of an injury. What is the problem, by the way?
No, I just hurt my sternum again that I hurt 3 weeks ago against Australia, so decided to get head rest calls on the field.
All right, just in a nutshell, the Vodacom Tri-Nations for you guys. You picked up the first win here, but you must be over the moon with the performance, especially of the youngsters.
Definitely, Darren. You know, we've been very unlucky in the last few Tri-Nations games. You know, the referees have nailed us a little bit today. Paddy O'Brien was unbelievable. And I'm just, you know, it's just awesome for us to come to Ellis Park today and know that there's 63,000 people for the first time since the 95 World Cup.
And don't forget the millions outside there as well.
Yeah, there are millions out there, but last weekend I was in trouble with my mother because I didn't thank the crowd. But just thank you very much for everybody who came out today. The team really appreciates it. This is for you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Corne going to celebrate with your teammates. Corne Krige, Springbok captain, with the Vodacom Trophy and the Mandela Cup as well. Right, ladies and gentlemen, there are more trophies to be presented this afternoon. It is now time to present the Tri-Nations Trophy. This will be presented by Mr. Silas Nkununu. And the Springboks have done the All Blacks a favour today, because the trophy goes to the All Blacks, and representing the New Zealand Rugby Football Union, Mr. Steve Chu will receive the Tri-Nations Trophy, the Vodacom Tri-Nations, for the champions, the All Blacks. Well done. Steve, maybe just a few words for the folks back in New Zealand. I'm sure they're celebrating as much as they are here at Ellis Park.
Yes, well, obviously on behalf of Ruben, Mitch and Robbie and the All Blacks, we're very grateful to the Springboks. Our guys have worked extremely hard. Obviously they should be here accepting this, but travel doesn't allow that. So on behalf of the New Zealand Rugby Football Union, we congratulate the All Blacks and all three sides on a great Tri-Nations. It's been fantastic rugby. Another great test today. Thank you, everybody.
Well done, Steve, and congratulations to the New Zealand All Blacks, the Vodacom Tri-Nations champions. Ladies and gentlemen, now time to present the Vodacom Man of the Match trophy. This will be presented by Mr. Silas Nkununu and also Andries Delport, the trophy from Jenna Clifford. And the Vodacom Man of the Match has been adjudged today to be Yiannis Labuschagne. Well done, Yiannis. It must be awesome to win the trophy and win the match in front of 62,000 of your home fans.
Yeah, Darren, first of all, I'd just like to thank the Lord for blessing me this year. And all the spectators, thanks a lot for coming out to support us. You really see we stuck to our guns, and thanks a lot to you guys.
All right, one of the local heroes here with the Lions is going to be going to Bagford Currie Cup action. Just tell us, what was anything said when you guys went behind that to pick yourselves up to win this game?
We just try to focus on the basics, Darren, get the ball and keep the ball and just keep it as long as possible.
Fantastic, Jan. Let's go and celebrate with the teammates. Congratulations. Good luck for the Bangford Currie Cup. Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of the game, 33-31, the Springboks. A great crowd here at Ellis Park. And now that wraps it up from the presentation area.
Yeah, congratulations to South Africa on the day, and to New Zealand as well, the Tri-Nations champions, without moving a muscle this afternoon. Before we go, though, a reminder of what we're all looking forward to, the start of the Premiership season as well. 2 weeks to go. The countdown begins, and much is geared to those 3 autumn encounters at Twickenham when England take on the might of the Southern Hemisphere's Big Three. We've got all the angles covered on Sky Sports, the home of rugby. Quick whiz through the details of the upcoming Leeds against Leicester is the opening fixture in the Zurich Premiership, the 31st of August, 1:30 on Sky Sports 2. The Rugby Club is back 2 days before at 6 on Sky Sports 3. The NPC continues next Saturday at 8:30 in the morning. Taranaki against Otago, that one on Sky Sports 3. A bonus fixture as well. Leicester warming up for the season against Biarritz in the Orange Cup, Saturday 2 p.m. Before we go, though, Stuart, John, final thoughts, please, on the Tri-Nations.
New Zealand deserve to win it. They're in a good position at the moment, but South Africa were the dark horses. They came third, but I think they're the dark horses coming up well on the rail. Australia going backwards at the moment. South Africa have a lot to look forward to. Very exciting team.
John.
Well, I think one thing that the England side, and especially Clive Woodward, has to understand is that he's got to say, if the team's beating Australia or teams like that and it's working, don't change anything. Don't go defensive. Still keep on attack.
Guys, thank you very much for joining us throughout the day. South Africa win this afternoon. New Zealand, the Tri-Nations champions. Bye for now.